All right, everyone. I have 7 o'clock Eastern time, so we'll go ahead and get started. Right now, you should be able to see the Canvas class site and obviously be able to hear my voice. If you can see the screen, but my computer screen, and can hear my voice, if you could just give me a yes or a thumbs up in the chat box, please. All right. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Taylor and Chelsea, both. All right, guys. Well, welcome. Welcome to EDA 602 Leadership for Human Resources Development in Schools. My name is Dr. Dustin Broombaum, an adjunct professor here. Just real quick about me a little bit. Uh, I'm currently the Director of Human Resources, Madison County Schools in Richmond, Kentucky, Madison County, Kentucky, whatever you want to call it. My experiences have been former middle school math teacher. I was an elementary school principal, and then I've been human resources director. Just about to finish my 7th year doing that one. So obviously, human resource development in schools is definitely in my niche, even in my day job. So the goals for tonight, feel free to ask any questions that you would like in the chat box if you have any. But the goal for tonight is basically I just want to kind of go through the Canvas class site, look over the syllabus, go over some expectations moving forward, and hopefully this will be pretty short and sweet. Take 20 or 30 minutes. I am recording it. I will put this recording probably put tomorrow till I actually post it, but in case you need to refer to anything. But basically, hopefully when you get off when we get off here tonight, you feel like you have a clear it's clear to you what the expectations and of the course and how the format of all this will work. So I imagine you've taken some classes using Canvas before. If not, please tell me that. But so basically, everything's in here. My format or the way it's set up on your screen may look a little bit different if you were logged in, just because obviously me being the adjunct professor. So here, contact your professor. Basically, I just tried to make my email address as easily accessible for you. I keep that email on my cell phone. That's the best way to contact me. I check it a couple of times a day, during lunch and stuff like that. Kind of depends on how busy my day job's going, but I assure you, I follow up usually that day with you. If it's a weekend, it might be the next day or something. But if you ever need to shoot me an email and we'd like to set up a phone call, set up our own individual Zoom meeting or whatever, definitely willing to do that. All right, next thing on there, we'll take a quick look at the syllabus, guys. There's not a ton in the syllabus. Most of it is the I'll call it boilerplate, the standard things that are on there. Has my name, yes, that's my cell phone number that's listed there. But again, I would prefer you, unless it's an emergency, I'd prefer you just shoot me an email at that Georgetown College email address that's on there. No book needed for this course, so all the materials or articles, whatever it may be, I provide you as part of the course. Some live text information. You'll notice that this class, there is a requirement for 10 hours, required field experience hours. I'm going to show you the form where we document those here in just a moment, and I'll talk a little bit more about the expectation for those 10 hours, but this class does have 10 hours. All the different standards that are covered in this course. Sorry, I'm not trying to go through it too quickly, but most of it's kind of self-explanatory. Kind of the course outline. You won't need that. I already have the course built, although you can't see each week yet, but each week is set up that way. And where are the big things here? All right, so the big things here are the graded, what items will be graded. I was thinking there was some more here. Hold on just a second. Yeah, here's where I was going to get to. Okay, so in this class is worth 150 points. How are those 150 points broken up? So you have some discussion boards or discussion forums worth 25 points total. I believe there are 5 of them worth 5 points each. You have some short reflection papers, also worth 25 points. I think there are 4 or 5 of those worth 5 or 10 points each. You have a human resource quiz that I'll talk about here in a moment, which is worth 10 points. The field experience hours, those 10 hours are worth 40 points. And then the final anchor assessment for the class is a third of your grade worth 50 points. So again, 150 points total. And then just make you aware, here we go, the standard grading scale with all of in the graduate school program. Remember, it's not the normal traditional 90 to an A, it's a 93 to 100 is an A, 85 to 92 is a B, 75 to an 84 is a C, and there are no D's in this in our graduate courses. Anything below a 75 is considered failing. All right, so I'm gonna click back over, to go back where I was. I'm just clicking on modules there, and going back to the top here. All right, so I'm gonna skip the discussion board expectations. I'm gonna come to that, but I am gonna look at the field experience documentation form. So again, as the syllabus said, there are 10 hours that are required for this course. Using this form is how you need to document those. So if you'll notice at the top there, where you can download this as a Word document. I would encourage you to do to probably go ahead and download that, and then as you do these items, you can type on it, or just go ahead and print one out and handwrite on it is okay as well. I don't need a big long description. I just need you to document for those 10 hours for each of those experiences that you do, to put the date. Give me a sentence or two describing what you did. And then for the signature, you need to do one of 2 things. Either one, whoever you spent that time with, have them sign off on it, or 2, the head principal in your school sign off on it. Either one of those people would be fine. But again, 10 hours. So what are some of those things? Okay, your standard SPDM council meetings, school board meetings are definitely acceptable. Professional learning communities, any sort of leadership activity. Just with this being a spring course, a course that's in the spring, some natural things that are going on in human resources that I would strongly encourage you to talk to your principal and see if you can participate in. Are, each school district does something, does their allocation meetings a little bit different. And what I mean by an allocation meeting is the school board is required by law to give the principal at a public school in Kentucky, to give the principal and that site-based council their March 1st allocation, okay, which March 1st is Saturday. So they're required to get it by then or before. All right, a lot of times most districts might have a short little meeting where, in Madison County, it would be the superintendent, me, the human resources director, our finance director, and the principal, and we kind of sit down and we look at, how, based on the numbers of students we're expecting next year to come in, how many teachers are you going to get? How much Section 6 funding are you going to get? How much Section 7 funding? All that type of stuff. I know this isn't the finance course, but they talk about some of those things. So ask your principal, is there an allocation meeting that you could maybe tag along and be a fly on the wall for? Is there some sort of principals meeting, either with the principals in your school or a district leadership meeting you could tag along to and just be a fly on the wall? So some of those principal leadership type things that you can attend. Maybe your school's getting ahead of the game and they're going to start doing some interviews for some openings for the next school year. See if you can get to participate in some of those. Those are a variety of different things. Here's what I don't want the 10 hours to be. I do not want the 10 hours to be that you, tagged along with the principal while you did bus duty, did car rider duty, supervised the cafeteria, you attended a baseball or a softball game, something like that. Yeah, do principals do those things? Of course, but 10 hours isn't a ton over a 7.5-week course. Try to make them valuable experiences if you could. All right, so that form's there. These weren't these 10 hours are not due until the last week of the course. So I did want to tell you about that ahead of time. Okay. All right. So then, moving on to week 1. All right. So our course starts on a Thursday. So I kind of view as each week, the week starts on a Thursday and it rolls around and ends on a Wednesday. And then week 2 starts the next Thursday and rolls around to the next Wednesday. That's kind of how I have that set up. So for week 1, which you guys are already able to see, you'll notice there's not much that you need to do this week. You do need to introduce yourself. So go into that discussion forum. If you have not already, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you had. I think there's only 5 or 6 of you, so all of you may have done it already. But that is a mandatory requirement for the course. It verifies your participation in the class or your enrollment in the class. So that's the only thing for week 1, because I wanted you to get familiar. But you'll notice it starts to get a lot more rigorous from week 2 on. Most weeks you have at least 2 things due. So week 2, you can't see on your screen. You might be able to see it, but you won't be able to access it. And if you'll notice, I have it set up to unlock on March the 3rd. So technically, the week starts for week 2 on March the 5th, but I have it set up that on March the 3rd, I guess the end of the day, March the 3rd, so a day or 2 ahead of time, it will open up. These are types of things that you'll be able to get done that week. Shouldn't be an issue. You'll notice that everything is due. Again, I said it starts on a Thursday, goes to a Wednesday. So I'm pretty sure, I had all assignments set up to end that they be due that week on that Wednesday by midnight. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at week 2, even though you can't access it now. But so here's how a typical week will work. So week 2, it'll be available at the end of the day on March the 3rd. So week 2, what are you gonna have to do? Okay, on week 2, I have a couple short videos for you to watch and a short report for you to read over. Okay. So again, you have 2 videos, a short report to read over. So once you've done that, then you can go complete the couple assignments for that week. So on week 2, the reflection paper number 1. All right, I ask you to write a reflection paper and share your thoughts on the following. Basically, the 2 little, the Todd Whitaker podcast and the report on teacher turnover, the 2 things I already referred to. In here, I ask you to write a 2-pager using 12 font, Times New Roman, double space, and no more than 2 pages. So again, I'm looking for more quality as opposed to quantity. It should be 2 pages or less. Folks, I'm gonna tell you, it should probably be a full page or close to it. But the biggest things in there I'm looking are good writing, good grammar, good punctuation, follow the expectations of Times New Roman, 12 font, double spaced, just good clean writing. Really reflect on, what's the Todd Whitaker podcast about a little bit. Give me a short little summary, but tell me what you took away from it. The report on teacher turnover. Give me a short little summary, but the main thing I'm worried about are what did you take away from it? Put it all in one thing, and that's worth 5 points. Okay, so once you've done that reflective paper, right where it says reflection paper number 1, March 11th there is when it's due at the end of the day, you upload it right there. All right, the next one that you also have to do that week is the week 2 discussion forum. So the discussion forum expectations, I don't remember if I put this on there every time, but basically you need to read and reflect on the weekly questions and submit your first post no later than Saturday at midnight. You're expected to respond to a minimum of 2 posts. And then basically I want you to make sure and have finished those up by Wednesday. So again, Wednesday is the end of the week. That's when you needed to have done your initial post by Saturday at midnight. Respond to the other 2, respond to 2 of your peers by the end of the day on Wednesday. All your posts should be 100 words, guys. I'm not counting them. 100 words to me is probably a good, solid, full paragraph. And again, good writing, good grammar, and all that. And you do all that. It is good writing, good grammar. It's well written. That should be an easy 5 out of 5 for you. Guys, that's a typical week. A typical week, you're gonna do some sort of reflective paper and you're gonna do some sort of discussion board, okay? You'll notice, again, you can't access it, but week 3 goes from March 12th to 18th. You'll notice I have on the very bottom right of that week, it'll unlock at the end of the day on March 10th. Why do I do this? Typically, I don't care that you work ahead, but here's what I've learned, and maybe you've experienced this. At Georgetown College, if a student doesn't take some sort of action that week, they run some sort of report. And if you've not taken action in the past week, you are susceptible to being administratively dropped. And I was getting people every single week do that. So what I've tried to do is make each week's the module for each week to be manageable to be done during that week, and then not even open it up until a day or two before to force you to have to do it that week. That's not my intent. I'll tell you, when you get to the end of the class and you get to the anchor assessment, I open it up in plenty of time for you to still get it done. I give you more than a week on that one, is what I do. Week 3 is quite similar. That's one of the weeks where you do have 3 things due. You have a reflective paper, just like you did in week 2. You have a discussion board, just like in week 2. The only other difference, folks, is you have an HR quiz. Okay, that HR quiz is basically you're going to download a Word document, and it's going to give you questions. It's not timed, anything like that, but it's a Word document. You download that Word document, you put your answers right on the Word document, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm pretty easy on you on it. For me, it's not so much the answers you get, although they're important. It's the process that you're going to have to go through to get it. So it's an open book, open note, open internet, whatever you want to call it, quiz. That's what that is. I'll tell you the answers at the end. If you make a good effort, I might dock a couple points on it, but more you going through the process of doing all of these and giving it a solid effort, you'll do well on it. But I give you some school-related topics, and you have to go through and you have to find the answer to it and reference the KRS law to it. So let me talk just a brief second about that. So what do I do on that? For me, I always put Kentucky KRS. We'll go 161 point. I don't know, Kentucky KRS tenure. Okay, there you'll find different things that reference it. So I even as an HR guy I've been a school administrator for, this is my 11th year now being a school, either HR director or principal. That's what I do a lot of at times. So there it quickly pulls up, there's a KRS one, KRS 161740, then I might go Google that one to see exactly what it says. That's kind of the trick of the trade, so to speak, that I do. When looking those up, you're going to need to search and find those types of things and put those on there. So that's week 3. Week 4, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to week 3. Folks, we're going to meet today, obviously, and then we're going to meet one other time, and that's Wednesday, March the 18th at 7 o'clock. I have that listed on there. Again, Wednesday, March 18th at 7 o'clock, just like we're meeting now. And then unless someone has a need for it, we won't have any whole class meetings again. I will meet individually with anybody if they want to. Again, you shoot me an email. We're going to find a time that works for both of us, maybe even that day if possible. If not, maybe the next day. And we'll do a Zoom meeting or we'll do a phone call, and I'll help you any way you can. So that's week 3. Week 4, again, reflective paper, discussion board, just like the one I showed you. Week 5 is reflection paper and discussion board. Week 6, reflection paper, discussion board. And then lastly, week 7, the field experience hours that I talked about, I've already talked about the expectation for those, and then the anchor assessment is due that day as well. What I always do, folks, then is when we meet during week 3, my point of the week 3 meeting will be kind of look back at what we've done so far. What are some issues that I'm seeing, if any? Give you guys an opportunity to ask questions if you have any. I take a small look forward, just like we're doing now, and then I'm gonna spend the majority of the time then going over the anchor assessment so that you're real clear. So that's the only thing that I won't go over tonight will be the anchor assessment. So, okay, so I've thrown a ton at you. What questions do you have? If I could get each of you to either tell me your question in the chat box, or B, tell me that you're good and you're comfortable so far, please. Okay. Well, I think that covers it. So I guess for moving forward again, so what do you need to be doing ASAP? One, I believe all of you, if not maybe one of you hadn't, but do the introduce yourself discussion board listed under week 1. Besides that, I would be ready to hit the ground running for week 2. I would check it on March the 4th. So maybe the morning of March the 4th, you check week 2. Go ahead, start watching those short videos and reading that short article and getting to work on those. So again, remember, our class starts on a Thursday. Each week starts on a Thursday, ends on a Wednesday. So all assignments, I believe, are dates on Wednesdays. They're all Wednesdays, even including the last week. The only thing I wanted to preface the last week is you're going to be uploading your field experience hours in Canvas and in live text. So if you're not familiar with how to access live text, you need to make sure that you be able to do that. That will be something that you'll be required to put in there. So, all right, folks. Well, remember, I am always a quick email away if I can answer any questions or I can help you in any way possible. So feel free to shoot me an email and we can set up a phone call, Zoom meeting, or maybe just answer your question through email. So otherwise, folks, I'm going to stay behind if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, you're free to go. And again, I look forward to working with each of you this semester. And good luck to you. Let me know how I can help you. Thank you.